How to check for a blown head gasket. There is a head gasket between the engine block and the cylinder head. You might not be familiar with this component of your car's operation if you aren't a mechanic or a DIY auto enthusiast. Its main function is to seal the engine's internal combustion system and stop coolant and oil from mixing as they move from the engine block to the cylinder head. The head gasket may start to leak since it is constantly exposed to hot and cold conditions. Fortunately, few warning indicators lead to head gasket issues. 1. Examine your engine oil. Examining your engine oil is one of the simplest and most reliable techniques to determine if you have a blown head gasket. You can check it by lifting the dipstick, but draining the oil from the pan and looking is much more effective if you need an oil change. It's a sign of a blown head gasket when engine oil and coolant mix. If your oil has a milky hue rather than the dark brown or black of old oil, it is mixed. The color will be milkier the more coolant is present. 2. Check your spark plugs. Coolant or oil on your spark plugs is a surefire sign that you have a blown head gasket. Even while this isn't as simple to find as checking your oil or exhaust, it's a surefire approach to identifying the issue. Simply remove your spark plugs and give each one a thorough inspection. You have an issue, and it's probably a blown head gasket if you see any oil or coolant residue on the spark plug's tip. 3. Check your exhaust. If you see much more smoke coming from your exhaust than usual, you may have a blown head gasket. When diagnosing excess exhaust, there's a factor you should be aware of. Expect more emissions than in warmer weather as the outside temperature decreases. This is completely typical and excludes blown head gaskets. If you have found this video informative so far, kindly like and subscribe to this channel, and let's continue with the video. 4. Check for leaks. Fewer people are aware that blown head gaskets can cause external leaks, although most people are aware that they can cause fluid to move to other areas of your engine. It all depends on where the leak is. Fluid will drip down the outside of your engine rather than enter various channels if it is closer to the outside of the head gasket. If it pools up and burns off before it reaches the ground, your engine may emit smoke as a result. 5. Inspect the radiator. When inspecting your radiator, there are a few distinct things you can look for. A blown head gasket will first allow air into the cooling system, which will result in a frothy or foamy mixture in the radiator. Additionally, the system might contain a mixture of fuel and oil. If that occurs, when you examine the radiator, the mixture will have a milky tint. 6. Run a compression test. This test is one of the trickiest to execute, but it's also one of the best. To accomplish this, you'll need a few specialized tools, and you'll also need to remove the spark plugs. Make sure to inspect the spark plugs for any coolant or oil residue before you remove them. If you have a blown head gasket, you'll notice a decrease in compression in the afflicted combustion chamber. This is because the cylinder can never entirely seal, and the extra pressure will always escape. If this video was helpful, please consider subscribing to this channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.